So you gotta go ahead and justify that. No. Yo, Mr. Tickle, you in? Mr. Tickle, you in?
All right. So
I got a question. Where are you getting your knowledge from?
let's just concede to that. So liquid does have its own shape. It just adapts to other shapes that makes it its own.
You
Whatever.
just you just proceed on that point.
Whatever. Yeah. It doesn't change anything. It's still
Then.
that the liquid is adapting to other shapes.
But then
But
it still would be its own shape via the essence of itself and the substance pertaining to the said water. So that said substance of water in its essence is still going to be an attribute to it, which makes up its essence. Therefore, liquid is going to have its own shape via adapting to that and copying it. Therefore, it mimics the said
so what
attributes which that shape has. So the shape has its own attributes. Therefore, it's applied to the liquid, which gives its more attributes to its essence. Therefore, it has its own shape.
bold ass nigga. I get it, bro.
It does not even mean something about a profile picture.
I don't know why you like I already get it, bro. Bold ass nigga, I get it, bro. I already agreed to your point. I don't know why you're explaining it again.
It's fun it's just want to be challenged again on it, but okay. Apparently we
Anyway,
didn't catch the tracking train. Anyways. What's the next point? Oh yeah, it's about water corresponding to the definition of what a liquid is. We already clarified the properties of what it is. Liquid can have its own shape of any kind. So since we already identified shape as a part of a liquid, would you consider on that point? You already granted that. So what's the shape of water? Since you defined water having being as a liquid, we already agreed upon liquid having a shape. So what's the shape of water?
uh basically just any shape that it decides to adapt.
What do you mean? What shape? Wait, what is the water corresponding to which it allows it to adapt?
What do you mean corresponding to?
Okay, so what's causing the liquid or they said water to adapt? What's the causal relationship or the composite which allows for the totality to take its shape right there, or the whole of the water and the composite being the liquid, etc., etc. For it to fully take on this shape. So, what's the causal relationship between that?
Uh the less rigid form of it, I guess.
So, what's a less rigid form? What is it?
Basically it not being as rigid as, for example,
So, what's rigid?
it let me finish. It not being as rigid as, for example, a solid, which you can't which isn't really flexible, but still less rigid than a gas. So basically it's flexible, very flexible.
Okay, so what do you define as flexible?
Why is that relevant?
It's relevant because that's also pertaining to the shape, or it's an attribute of the shape of which water is going to have. Since you're saying it's like less rigidable, more rigidable, yeah, so flexibility is going to pertain to its shape and essence. So, what do you define as flexible? It's relevant by that. Even though it's an external thing, it's still relevant to it.
Do you know what flexible is?
I'm asking you, what do you define as flexible? You're the one who posited it, so go ahead and define it.
Yeah, but
If you're obviously positing it, obviously it's going to be within your epistemic scope and range of knowledge. So go ahead.
I get you, but I'm saying it's not. I'm trying to say that the question isn't relevant. So do you know what it is? What
Question
flexible is?
is relevant. I already justified why it's going to be relevant. What are you
Hey, so
talking
I
about?
asked. Hey, so I'm asking you, do you know what it is? The
I'm
yes
not
or no
talking
question.
about that question. I'm talking about my question I asked you. You asked why that's relevant. I gave a justification for my question, why it would be relevant. Pertaining to your question, I think you just be more so evading the said question, dodging the question.
I'm not.
So
Well,
you kind of are dodging the question by just asking me the same question, but just reversing the target.
no, I'm saying. Do you know?
Wait, what do you mean? Wait, what do you mean? Well, no, you're literally just dodging the question. You haven't answered. You're just bloviating. You're just talking in a lengthy way and not answering it. I just want you to answer. That's all I need.
Question? Because if you know what, there's no point to answering.
What do you mean there's no point? Literally, we have a point for it to answer. We have to know what flexibility is, as it's an attribute of the said water to reach the totality of its
No,
shape and what causes the causal relationship for that shape. It's literally a composite of that said totality, so it's literally a point to answer that on. If it's flexible, obviously there's a shape within that, and even then, go ahead. What do you
yo,
define as flexible?
listen. If we both agree on the same topic, what's the point of debating on it?
What do you
I'm
mean
just.
agreeing on the same topic? I literally have like,
Oh, I'm
oh my gosh, bro, holy shit, are you tracking?
I'm tracking, and I'm saying your question
I
is
don't,
irrelevant.
I don't. You said it isn't relevant.
Irrelevant. If you
Irrelevant.
know what flexible is, then your question is irrelevant.
I never posited I knew what that is. I'm asking you what you think it is. I'm questioning your epistemic scope. So, yeah, nice evasion there.
I asked you if you knew what it is. Then so we
Okay,
save
I'm not the one who's positing what flexible is. I'm asking you what definition are you appealing to. Otherwise, we're basically just being semantically ambiguous within our morphology. Otherwise, because there could be more interpretation as to what flexible could be. Because there could be connotations, damnations, literally just oxymorons. So which one are you appealing to? We need to know.
I don't know what any of those are,
Oh my gosh, bro, holy shit.
but just the analytical meaning of flexible.
Okay, do you know what analytical is?
Yeah. Basically
What
true
type
by
of analytical?
just basically true by definition.
Okay, so that's what we call semantically true.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's analytically true, which definition are we appealing to? Which flexibility are we appealed to? Because once we apply to the said definition, because as I said, there's multiple definitions as we could be like appealing to of flexibility. So which one are we going to be corresponding to really say it's going to be semantically true of that said definition we're appealing to? Because right now the definition is ambiguous. We have no means as to what you are referring to in this framework. So that's why we need to know to truly say that this definition is going to be analytically true.
All right. Well, I said it's irrelevant because I know you know what I mean by flexible, but flexible meaning it's easy to
Oh, I literally don't know what you mean by flexible. Because there's
flex.
multiple definitions as I already stated, and me stating that I don't know what you mean by flexibility would just be contrary to that.
All right.
That'd be
Anyway,
literally that's literally me just being disingenuous. Like what?
flexible as in easy to adapt or easy to change. It and
So
it's
then it'd just be a connotation of what flexible is.
I don't know I don't know what connotation is, but sure.
You know what a connotation is? Hold on. Let me just get the what a connotation is real quick. I don't remember it by memory, but I already like know what the basic conceptualization of it is. Okay, so literally just a cultural association or okay, so it could just invoke what it means by its literal definition, like which definition are we appealing to, because we could just have a connotation of said definition, right? You gave a definition, but we don't know if it's a connotation, detonation. Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
If we just go to adaptable, able to adjust to a new or changing requirement such as a flexible schedule or frame policy. Okay, so adaptable can just refer to an object/entity within a set of framework. Yeah, we can say that can go to like a shape thing. But here's the thing: you asserted that it's analytically true, which would mean we be applying to a definition. I think that's literally just connotation of what that is, because that also refers to things which exist outside of the said definition. Because adaptability, right? It doesn't necessarily mean it's like bending
Right.
things.
I
It's just like
understand
a
what I
Wait,
go
wait,
to a
wait, wait. It's just like it's a subjective thing of what the actual definition is. It's like external, but it's just taking what it means by its little definition to a beyonder stage of that. It's not necessarily the same definition. It's not necessarily
lab.
the same as the definition, but it's just going beyond the said definition, using that word in a way where it's like invoking subjective principles. That's what a basically connotation is. So adaptability, we referring to cultural things, which a connotation can refer to cultural things. Adaptability can refer to object or such entity as well, which within that connotation as well of what flexibility is.
Well, I'm
And you
saying
said it's analytically true, right? So you suggesting that a definition is going to be true under that. There's no basis for that, as you already like said. It's going to be adaptability. Adaptability, as we already like asserted, is going to be a connotation of what flexibility is. So that doesn't necessarily mean or meet the analytical criteria we need to say the definition is going to be true, as we're appealing to a connotation, not the definition of what flexibility is. So it's already contrary statements, reaffirming P and not P again for contradiction. Again.
all right. So flexibility, as in easy to adapt. In this case, as in easy to take shape of other things.
All right. So as I said, that's still just a connotation of what it is, as it's referring to a thing, cultural
Shape,
principle.
whatever.
I guess you could say it's also like bendable without breaking, or just. Yeah, I guess you could say. I guess you could say the connotation would be referring to a framework and analogy as well. I mean, you're giving an analogy, but like, I guess you could say it's both. I guess we could just slap equal interpretation onto that.
Sure.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So now we have equal interpretation. All right. So what's the causal relationship for the water taking this form?
What's the what?
Causal relationship for water taking this form. You said it, flexibility is going to be an attribute of its essence and the shape it's taking. So what's the causal relationship which causes the you know water to take this formation in totality of what it is, the whole of said water?
Oh yeah. Oh, all right. Yeah. It not having an inherently fixed shape of its own, basically.
And that just backtracks to the other point, which you said that liquids can have a shape, but you can just adapt to other shapes and have its own shape. You already conceded on that. So it must have a shape it can adapt to take that form. So since you already granted the fact that last point you conceded on, we'd have to say it has to have a shape to adapt to take on a form. Otherwise, how are we going to grant flexibility being attribute of its shape when it has no shape? We have no basis of what the shape is. We need a basis of what the shape of water is. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead and give the basis of what's the causal relationship for water taking this shape. Like, we know flexibility is going to be attribute to this said shape, but we don't even know the shape as well. So we need specific composites to reach a totality, which we don't even have yet. So say, for an example, again, flexibility, we know that's going to be a composite of that, but we
Yeah.
have no other way which causes the causal relationship for the water to take the shape. We know, firstly, I think we need to address what's the shape of water. We know flexibility is an attribute of it, as I already stated. I keep repeating that, but we need to know what's the main shape water is. What do you think the shape of water is?
Doesn't have a main shape. It's
Hey,
adapting.
wait, so if it doesn't have a main shape, then how are we going to say it's going to adapt to something? There's no other shape it takes. We need that causal relationship for that.
What do you
So go
mean?
ahead and give that basis for it. Go ahead and give the basis for its causal relationship. I'm waiting for that.
Base for what?
Or its shape. You
Yeah.
said
It's
water doesn't have a main shape, but then you also like last point said
no.
water can have its own shape by adapting to something. So if water
Yeah.
being a liquid
Oh,
adapts to a shape and it has its own what shape what caused water to have its shape?
Already,
What caused water to have its shape? What's the
what caused?
causal relationship for that?
I don't know. I don't know, bro. But
Okay, what
anyways,
did you concede on that then?
I don't concede to what, bro? What are you
That
conceding
point.
to?
That point. You want to just concede
Point.
on that point?
What's your point going against me?
I'm not talking about my point. I'm not talking about my interpretation. I'm talking about this point we have within the said dialectic.
What's the point?
Oh my gosh, bro. If water has a shape or not.
It does have a shape, bro.
Okay, but you also made a last point that it has a shape to like have a causal relationship from. Not exactly causal relationship, but adapts from. If water has a shape, we would need to say it had adapted from something because like water can have its shape of its own according to its essence. As we
Right.
already know, a liquid itself, we already granted that flexibility is an attribute, so it's going to be an attribute of the said essence, which we have, because we already know equal interpretation to what. So we know flexibility is a part of that. We know water is going to have some form of essence which can apply to a shape, but if water has a shape, what is the shape?
Basically anything
You
that it
literally
adapts.
also admitted, wait, you also admitted you don't know what the shape of water is. So if you're
Yeah,
basically saying, well, wait, if you're basically affirming that water has a shape, but then say you don't know what the shape is, that's another contradiction and backtrack you are making.
just said it adapts to any shape. It adapts to anything it's in contain. It's
Okay,
contained
so
in.
wait. What's water contained within? What is it adapting to? What's the causal relationship for water to take that shape and adapt to then?
Well, what's
As you
what's
already
it?
asserted,
Are you saying what's it adapting to? Is that your question?
basically, for it to have that shape, yeah.
Yeah, that could vary. It depends on what you pour it in. It depends on what's holding it, what's containing it. For example,
Yeah,
if I put it,
that's what we need to know so we can say water has a shape.
yeah, for
Water's
example,
supposed to have a shape, but we don't know what the causal relationship for water to have a shape is.
all right, yeah, that could vary. So, for example, if you put it
Hey,
in a,
look, not to like be disrespectful or anything, but yeah, I understand your point. It can vary, but we need to know what the causal relationship for it to have the said shape, which you already admitted you don't know what the shape of water will be. And if water is supposed to have a shape, right? We know flexibility is a part of water, it adapts to things. And if water has the supposed shape which you don't know, you're basically agnostic on what the shape is.
I do know.
We would have to affirm what you do
I
know. So I'll backtrack again. I'm not doing that. So another thing we would have to do, a causal relationship, right? I'll just define what that is. Do you need a definition of what causal relationships are?
okay. Well, I do know.
Wait, I'm not done. Okay, so a causal relationship is a connection between two variables. So we know water is a variable, and but there's another variable which is unknown, which the other variable adapts to create a totality.
Yeah,
So we need to know what the other variable is. There's no other variable, and this variable we have, which is water, we don't know its shape. You're agnostic upon that. You didn't answer that because you said you don't know. We know water is a variable. We don't know the other variable to determine water's shape. As you said, it could be anything. There's nothing which goes into conjunction with water. Therefore, it's contradictory to say it can have a shape when we don't know the other variable. We know water is an independent variable which can go into a totality of something, which is just water. We know actually flexibility is another variable, but I'm talking about water and like the first variable we have. We just have flexibility as a composite on water is another composite. So those are two variables we have, which is in the totality. Oh yeah, we need another variable to determine this causal relationship between it, which we don't have. So it's contrary to say that we have a shape when we don't know which the variable of the shape is. So yeah,
variable shape is a triangular shaped cup. So we just
triangular
established.
shaped cup.
Yeah,
Can you go ahead and give the substance as to why that would be the variable?
it's a random pick. Does
It's a
it
random
doesn't
pick. You
Yeah.
also like suggested that that's the shape of water, so we'd be basically affirming that it is the shape, which can give water its own shape. So we'd be basically affirming that is the variable. So if we say it could be, that's just changing the proposition again. So we need substance as to that said variable being the case rather than could be the case, because if we go off probability in that own assertion from before, that's just changing the said variable, like not the variable because the variable itself, but the propositional value.
What are you talking about, man?
What is just you already know what I'm about to say.
I don't even know what you're about to say. So, water shape in this example is just a triangle because it's in a
And
triangular.
so back to what I said again. The variable we have in this framework, which we appeal to, this framework we are appealing to for that said variable to be the case is a triangular shape, but we need substance as to why a triangle would be affirmed to be the case within this framework. So we need substance as to why that's the variable in that framework. As you said, it could vary, and affirming that it will be a triangle, and you saying it could be the variable as it goes in conjunction with varieties of the said variable. There's like contradiction which exists in that, and like backtracks again.
So, what are you asking me, man?
I'm asking why would this be the case in this framework for a triangle? I know you said this will be the case, but we need the substance to why this would be the variable that gives water a shape, right? Because you already
Oh,
affirmed you're agnostic upon the shape of water, but the other variable would just be another contradiction to that. So
what other variable?
it's so over for the calm.
Yo,
Look, man,
what
you want me to just save the recording, man?
the what?
The recording, it's been recording for a while.
Why were you recording this?
Because I'm about to upload it to YouTube.
I don't really care, but